Okay, so get ready because today we are taking a deep dive
Uh-oh.
into a source that's a little different than usual.
Different how?
Well, it's not every day we get to unpack a guided hypnosis session, let alone one that delves into the mysteries of Orion's belt.
A hypnosis session, you say?
Yeah,
That's certainly a unique lens through which to explore these concepts.
right.
I'm curious to see what kind of insights we can glean,
Yeah.
even if we maintain a healthy dose of skepticism.
Exactly. And believe me,
Yeah.
you'll need that skepticism
Yeah.
because this session throws out some seriously wild claims.
Like what?
We're talking pyramids acting as energy beacons,
Uh,
holographic projections influencing our reality,
okay.
and even a belt around Earth controlled by ancient deities.
A belt around Earth?
Yeah.
That's a new one for me.
I know, right?
What exactly is the session suggesting about this belt?
Well, before we jump into the cosmic barrier,
Okay.
let's start with something a little more grounded.
More grounded.
Literally, the session kicks off with this idea of the pyramids of Giza being aligned with the 3 stars of Orion's belt.
Uh-huh.
Not only that,
Okay.
it claims that these pyramids are acting like giant reflectors, amplifying frequencies or projections beamed from Orion itself.
Now, the idea of pyramids as energy receivers or transmitters is a common theme in certain esoteric and New Age circles.
Right.
From a purely scientific standpoint, however, the evidence for such alignments is pretty shaky.
I see.
But it's fascinating to consider why humans are so drawn to these ideas.
Yeah, why are we?
Is it a longing for a connection to something beyond ourselves?
Maybe.
Or perhaps a desire to believe in ancient advanced civilizations with a knowledge far beyond our own?
It definitely plays into that sense of wonder and mystery we often associate with ancient civilizations.
Right.
And speaking of things that are out of this world,
Oh boy.
the session goes on to describe life on Orion's belt.
Okay.
Brace yourself. Because according to this hypnosis session, these beings are made of plasma energy and are constantly changing forms and frequencies.
Wow.
They're portrayed as these cosmic architects, experimenting with creating worlds and influencing reality through...
Wait.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Holograms, plasma beings, and holographic projections, you say.
It's a lot.
It sounds like we've stumbled into the realm of science fiction.
Right.
While the Orion constellation is very real and a source of endless fascination for astronomers,
Yes.
there's no scientific evidence to support these claims about extraterrestrial life forms made of plasma.
Okay.
However, it's worth noting that plasma is the most common state of matter in the universe,
Interesting.
and it does exhibit some fascinating properties.
So while sentient plasma beings might be a stretch,
Right.
the idea of plasma playing some kind of role in the universe isn't totally out there.
Exactly. Our scientific understanding of the universe is constantly evolving,
That's true.
and there's still so much we don't know.
Yeah. Who knows what future discoveries might reveal about the nature of matter and energy?
Okay, so back to these alleged holographic projections.
Right.
This session claims these plasma beings are projecting holograms onto Earth, specifically targeting countries like the US, Japan, and Russia.
Interesting.
And their motive:
Let me guess.
to manipulate our perception of reality,
Of course.
potentially through fear and subliminal messaging.
The classic conspiracy theory trope of mind control and hidden agendas.
Right.
While there's no evidence to support the existence of extraterrestrial holograms,
Yeah.
it's important to acknowledge the very real concerns people have about media manipulation,
Yeah.
propaganda, and the influence of technology on our thoughts and behaviors.
And this session dives right into those concerns.
How so?
It even provides tips on how to spot these supposed holograms.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the hypnotized subject describes them as having faded colors and a surreal or untouchable quality, almost like a glitch in the Matrix.
I can just imagine people walking around squinting at billboards trying to determine if that ad for a new gadget is actually a message from Orion.
It's a funny image, right?
Yeah.
But on a more serious note, it does make you think about how easily our perception can be influenced, especially in a world saturated with media and technology.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The human mind is incredibly adept at finding patterns and meaning even where there is none. It's what makes us creative storytellers, but it also makes us susceptible to believing things that confirm our existing biases or fears.
That's true.
So how does this hypnosis session connect these holographic projections to the concept of a belt around Earth?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting.
Go on.
According to the session, this belt is a barrier controlled by,
By who?
wait for it,
Okay.
the Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki.
You know those ancient Mesopotamian deities often associated with the creation of humankind in ancient astronaut theories?
Now we're venturing into the realm of ancient mythology and its intersection with modern conspiracy theories.
Hmm.
It's fascinating how these ancient stories continue to capture our imaginations and influence our beliefs, even in the age of science and technology.
Yeah.
For those unfamiliar, the Anunnaki are a group of deities from ancient Mesopotamian mythology.
Yeah.
They're often depicted as powerful beings who played a role in the creation of humanity and the development of civilization.
And this session paints them as the ultimate cosmic gatekeepers.
Interesting.
This belt they supposedly control prevents souls from entering or leaving Earth without agreeing to certain conditions.
Like what?
We're talking forgetting past lives being subject to energy harvesting.
Wow.
It's a pretty bleak picture of our existence.
The concept of a barrier around Earth resonates with the idea of a veil or a separation from a higher realm of existence,
Right.
a theme found in many spiritual traditions.
Uh-huh.
The idea of souls being trapped or manipulated is a powerful one.
Yeah.
It speaks to our anxieties about free will, meaning of life, and the forces that may be beyond our control.
So we've got these potentially manipulative plasma beings projecting holograms,
Right.
a cosmic barrier controlled by ancient deities,
Uh-huh.
and souls trapped in a cycle of forgetting and energy harvesting.
Yeah.
Where do we even go from here?
Well, I'd say we delve deeper into this hypnosis session and see what other insights it might offer.
Yeah.
It's clear that this session, while certainly unconventional, has opened up a Pandora's box of intriguing ideas.
Intriguing indeed, and perhaps a little unsettling.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm ready to see what else this session has to offer.
All right.
You with me?
Lead the way. I'm ready to dive deeper into this rabbit hole, but let's keep our critical thinking caps on as we go.
Always good advice.
Right. Okay, so we've established that this hypnosis session paints a pretty bleak picture.
Yeah.
With humanity seemingly trapped in a web of cosmic manipulation.
Right.
But I'm curious about this future Earth you mentioned.
Right.
The one shining like a golden sun, free from karma and reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
How does the session describe the journey from our current reality to this seemingly utopian future?
Well, it's not so much about a single event as it is about a gradual shift in consciousness.
Okay.
The session suggests that as more people remember their true nature and reject the limitations imposed by this belt, it begins to weaken,
Interesting.
creating holes or portals that allow for escape.
You know, that imagery of a collective awakening chipping away at this cosmic barrier is really powerful.
Yeah.
It speaks to our innate desire for liberation, for breaking free from constraints.
Right.
And when you think about it, those constraints could represent so many things.
Like what?
Limiting beliefs, societal pressures, fear, even our own self-doubt.
It's like we're all tangled up in this web of limitations.
Yeah.
And the key to breaking free is remembering who we truly are.
Right.
And you touched on something interesting there.
What's that?
The concept of remembering.
Okay.
The session puts a lot of emphasis on the idea that we've forgotten our true nature,
Oh.
our connection to something bigger than ourselves,
Okay.
and that this forgetting is a key part of what keeps us trapped.
The theme of remembering, of rediscovering lost knowledge or forgotten past, is a recurring motif in mythology and spiritual teachings across cultures.
I see.
Think about Plato's allegory of the cave, where prisoners mistake shadows for reality. Or the concept of reincarnation, where we cycle through lifetimes forgetting our past experiences.
Right.
It seems we're inherently drawn to the idea that we hold within us a hidden truth, a potential waiting to be unlocked.
It's almost like we're living in this cosmic amnesia,
Yeah.
going through the motions, but not fully grasping the bigger picture.
Right.
And according to this session, that's exactly what these beings from Orion's belt want.
What do you mean?
They're manipulating our reality, using holograms to keep us in this state of forgetfulness,
Yeah.
essentially preventing us from accessing our full potential.
It's a fascinating, albeit unsettling concept. This idea that our reality might not be what it seems, that we're being manipulated by unseen forces, is a common thread in conspiracy theories and science fiction alike. But it also taps into a very primal fear, doesn't it?
I think so.
The fear of the unknown, the possibility of deception, and the fragility of our own perception.
Right.
What stands out to you about this idea of a manipulated reality?
Honestly, it makes me think about the power of information,
Okay.
of narrative, and how easily it can shape our understanding of the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're bombarded with information from all sides, especially in this digital age.
Right.
It makes you wonder how much of what we perceive as reality is actually just a carefully constructed story?
That's a profound question.
Yeah.
And it brings us back to the importance of critical thinking, of questioning assumptions, and of seeking multiple perspectives.
Absolutely.
It's not about dismissing everything as a conspiracy,
Right.
but about being aware of the potential for manipulation and developing the tools to discern truth from illusion. Now, the session describes these beings from Orion as preventing souls from entering Earth if they don't agree to these terms.
Yeah.
Essentially limiting access to this earthly experience.
Right, this cosmic bouncer situation.
Yeah.
They're controlling who gets in and under what conditions. It's a stark reminder of the power dynamics at play in this narrative.
Okay.
It makes you question, what is the purpose of our existence if it's being dictated by these external forces?
It's a question that has plagued philosophers and theologians for centuries. Do we have free will, or are we simply playing out predetermined roles in a grand cosmic drama? It's enough to make you spiral, honestly.
Yeah.
But before we go full existential crisis, let's remember that this session also offers a glimmer of hope.
Oh, okay.
Despite these seemingly insurmountable forces, it suggests that human consciousness is rising, creating those cracks in the belt we talked about.
Right, it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
We're not just passive victims in this scenario.
Yeah.
The session suggests that we have the power to break free, to reclaim our autonomy, and to evolve beyond these limitations.
Exactly. And it's not just about individual awakening, but about a collective shift in consciousness.
Okay.
The more people who wake up, the more those cracks widen, potentially shattering this belt altogether.
It's like this cosmic prison break with each act of awareness, each moment of questioning chipping away at the bars.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And it highlights the empowering message at the heart of this session.
Okay.
Yes, there might be forces trying to manipulate us to keep us in the dark,
Right.
but we have the inherent power to break free.
Uh-huh.
And it's not about fighting these forces, but about transcending them.
Okay.
It's about evolving our consciousness to a level where these limitations no longer hold power over us.
So how do we do that? How do we wake up and break free from this cosmic manipulation?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's one simple answer. But if we look at the session's narrative, it seems to point towards a few key elements.
Sure.
Remembering our true nature, questioning assumptions, cultivating awareness, and connecting with something larger than ourselves.
It's about taking back control of our narrative.
Yeah.
Becoming conscious creators of our own reality, both individually and collectively.
Precisely. And even if we approach this source material with a healthy dose of skepticism, it's undeniable that it raises some profound questions about the nature of reality, the limits of perception, and the potential for human consciousness to evolve.
It's a call to action, would you say?
Absolutely. A call to wake up, to remember, and to step into our full potential.
Right.
And on that empowering note, perhaps we should see what else this session has in store for us.
Let's continue our deep dive into this wild and wondrous world of hypnotic regression and cosmic conspiracies.
Oy.
Who knows what other rabbit holes we might stumble upon.
Lead the way. I'm all ears.
So, as we delve deeper into this hypnosis session, there's one detail that keeps coming back to me.
What is it?
Remember how the subject described those alleged holograms as having faded colors and a surreal quality?
Yes, I do.
It's almost like they're suggesting there are cracks in the facade of our reality.
Okay.
And if we pay close enough attention,
Yeah.
we can see through them.
It's a compelling image, isn't it? This idea that we can glimpse the machinery behind the curtain, so to speak.
Right.
But it also raises a question.
Go on.
If these holograms are meant to manipulate us, why would there be these telltale signs at all? Wouldn't a truly effective manipulation be seamless and undetectable?
Right. It's like the cosmic puppeteer is leaving strings dangling for us to find.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Well, perhaps it's not about perfect concealment, but about subtle suggestion.
Okay.
Think about subliminal messaging in advertising, for example. It's not overt, but it's designed to influence our choices and behaviors on a subconscious level. Maybe these alleged holograms operate in a similar way, working on the fringes of our awareness, planting seeds of fear, desire, or conformity.
That's a pretty chilling thought.
Yeah.
It's like this low-level background noise of manipulation that we're constantly being bombarded with.
Right.
But even if we accept this premise, the session also suggests that we're not entirely powerless against it.
That's good.
Remember the rising human consciousness creating those holes in the belt. It implies that we have the ability to break free from these manipulations, to see through the illusions and reclaim our autonomy.
Absolutely. Awareness is key.
Right.
The more we question, the more we critically examine the information we're bombarded with,
Yeah.
the less likely we are to fall prey to manipulation.
Okay.
Whether that manipulation is coming from shadowy organizations, media conglomerates, or hypothetical holographic projectors from Orion's belt, the principle is the same.
So it's like building up our mental immune system, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And this session seems to be suggesting that this collective awakening, this rise in consciousness, is already happening.
Right. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's certainly true that we're seeing a growing trend of people questioning the status quo, challenging traditional narratives, and seeking alternative perspectives.
All right.
We see this in the rise of independent media,
That's all?
the growing interest in spirituality and personal development,
Okay.
and the increasing awareness of the interconnectedness of all things.
So you're saying.
Whether or not this is directly related to cosmic forces manipulating us through holograms is up for debate,
Right.
but the shift in consciousness itself seems undeniable.
It's like we're waking up from a collective dream, realizing that the reality we've been presented with might not be the whole picture.
Exactly.
And even if we take the session's claims with a grain of salt,
Yeah.
it serves as a powerful metaphor for the challenges we face in navigating this increasingly complex world.
I agree, this idea of a belt restricting our freedom, of external forces trying to control our perception, it resonates with very real concerns about censorship propaganda and the erosion of critical thinking.
Right.
The narrative, regardless of its literal truth, holds a mirror up to our own anxieties about the world we live in.
It forces us to ask ourselves some tough questions. Who are we? What do we believe?
Yeah.
And are we truly in control of our own destinies?
Precisely. And the session's ultimate message, despite the bleakness of its premise, is one of hope and empowerment.
I like that.
It suggests that human consciousness has the potential to break free from these limitations, to transcend the manipulations, and to create a new reality that is more aligned with our highest values and aspirations.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into this fascinating and at times mind-boggling hypnosis session,
Right.
what would you say is the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think the most important thing is to remember that this is just one perspective, one interpretation of reality.
Okay.
We shouldn't take it as gospel, but rather as a springboard for our own exploration and questioning. The real value lies in the questions. It raises the insights it sparks and the potential it unlocks for us to become more conscious and aware participants in our own lives and the world around us.
Beautifully said. It's a reminder that the journey of discovery is often more important than the destination.
Absolutely.
Who knows what other mysteries and insights await us as we continue to explore the vast and uncharted territories of consciousness and the cosmos.
Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive for today.
Okay.
We hope this exploration has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to delve deeper into these fascinating topics.
And remember, keep questioning, keep exploring, and never stop seeking truth, no matter how strange or surprising the path may be. Until next time, keep those minds open and those curiosity levels high.